Letting the eyes fall closed and starting to pull the awareness inward. So shaking off the day so far, forgetting about anything that you might need to do later. For this next hour, it's just us, just here and just now. Let the shoulders soften down away from the ears, shoulder blades slide down the back. Imagine that little thread connected to the crown of the head, setting you up just a little bit taller than usual. Then notice your breath. Not to control it, but notice your baseline. How are you arriving today? Then softening through the rib cage and let the diaphragm drop. Now, if you sunk forward when that happened, press yourself back, get that spine stacked straight again. Now let your inhales fill that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Each breath a little bit deeper and a little bit longer than the one before. For this next minute or so, we're just going to breathe. If the mind starts to wander, and it probably will, bring it back to the sensation of your breath. And taking the biggest, deepest breath of the day, feeling that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Then through the mouth with a sigh, exhale completely. All the way to the bottom. And inhaling the arms, out and up. Bringing palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhaling out and up. Bringing palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Last time, inhaling out and up. This time when the palms come to touch, interlace fingers, flip those palms, press the ceiling away. Big inhale. Exhale, tip right. Inhale, center. Exhale, tip left. Inhale, center. Now dropping that right arm down, exhale, take your time. Think about keeping that left sit bone glued to the ground, active reach through those left fingers. Make sure that left shoulder doesn't collapse forward. Want to make sure to have that shoulder rolling back, armpit open. And engage the core, inhaling back to center. Exhaling left. Keeping that right sit bone glued to the ground. Active reach with those fingers. Making sure that shoulder is rolling back. And engage the core. Inhaling back to center. And exhale, float those arms down. All right, it's twist time. Either keep your knees the way they are or point that left one forward. Step that right foot across, tuck those feet in if you want to. Then the right fingers go behind, the left arm to that right thigh. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist with the belly first. And then the ribs, the shoulders, and finally the gaze. Thinking about growing taller with each inhale. A really long spine is important here. And then twisting just a little bit deeper with each exhale. Now, if you're in that deep version, feel free to drop that left hand down, reaching for that left big toe. Try and keep those breaths nice and deep here. And big inhale. Exhale, return that gaze to center, followed by the rest of the body. Switch those knees or just switch the hands. Then the left fingers behind, right arm, left thigh. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist belly first, then ribs, shoulders, finally the gaze. Now notice that space you're creating as you inhale. Try to move into that space as you exhale, just gently. Extending that right arm for that right big toe if you want to. And big inhale. Exhale, return that gaze to center, followed by the rest of the body. You guys are getting pretty darn good at this twisting business. I'm impressed. Headed for your tabletop, roll over those knees if it works. Otherwise, kick the feet out to the side, that's fine too. Big inhale when you get there. And exhale, sit back to your child's pose. Could be knees together or apart, whichever is more comfortable for you. Then think about letting all of those joints settle into place. Let as many of those muscles release as you can. Now maybe take a moment, scan the body, find where you may be unconsciously holding tension. Relaxing the face, shoulders. All right, now keeping the head low, walking the hands over to the right side, getting a big stretch through that left side rib cage, through that left side armpit and shoulder. Gently walking those hands back through center, all the way left. Gently walking those hands back to center. Then inhale, shifting forward, tabletop. Cat pose, exhale. Tuck the tailbone, gaze drops to the navel, arching the spine like a Halloween cat. Think about lifting that core up towards your spine. Use that active core here. Cow pose, inhale, let the belly drop, the tailbone lift, the gaze gently lift. Then swinging the torso right. Up into cat pose, exhale. Swing it left. Down into cow pose, inhale. Keep the circle moving. Soften through shoulders, soften through hips. Find all of those tight and sore spots. Now feel free to get your head involved if you want to. The gaze would come up during cow pose and down during cat pose. I don't do it often because it usually makes me dizzy, but feel free. Switching directions whenever you're ready. All right, returning that spine to neutral. Find those knees right under the hips, those wrists right under the shoulders. Then extending through those right fingers, pressing back through that left heel. Bird dog pose. Find that core, pull it towards the spine. So you guys that have been at this for a long time, have you noticed how stable you're getting? Do you remember how wobbly y'all used to be in this pose?
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right, big inhale. Knee to elbow exhale, squeeze it slowly. Yeah. Inhale long, nice and slow and smooth, like you're moving through water. Knee to elbow exhale. Maybe syrup. Maybe moving through syrup. Inhale long. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long. Just two more. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long. Knee to elbow exhale. This time we're going to hold it for 10, 9. Pull that knee in as tight as you can. 7, 6. Doming that belly towards the spine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale long. And set it down. Exhale. Finding those wrists under the shoulders again, those knees under the hips again. Then extending with those left fingers, pressing back through that right heel. Bird dog pose. No, it's okay. You can leave it open. Hope you all don't mind the fiesta music going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not. There's workers across the street that are, they're having a good day. Big inhale. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long, nice and slow and controlled. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long. Just two more. Knee to elbow exhale. Inhale long. All right, last one. Knee to elbow exhale. This time pull that knee as tight into the chest as you can get it and hold it for 10, 9, 8. Doming that belly towards the spine. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale long. And set it down, exhale. Let's go ahead and sit back for a little child's pose. Feel free to throw those arms behind to let those shoulders relax if you would like to. So I kind of have the feeling that this particular group of folks today would like the ice part of the fire and ice class, but not necessarily the fire. And so the sense, I think everybody is pretty much on the same page. I think we'll do that. I think for the last good chunk of class, we'll just focus on some deep, deep stretching. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. All right. Now reach those hands out front. Spread those fingers, plant those palms. Tuck the toes under. Lifting the hips up and back, down dog. Now take a moment, pedal out those heels, stretching through those calves, maybe shifting those hips from side to side. Then notice what your natural alignment is, and then try to go for the proper alignment, getting those hips in line with shoulders, in line with the wrists. There's a real tendency to have some tightness through the armpits, through the upper back, shoulders. With time, that does loosen up. All right. Looking between the hands, walk those feet forward. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale to a forward fold. Make sure the bend is coming from the hips tilting forward, from the pelvis tilting forward, not from the spine rounding. A good way to get into it is to think about keeping the heart lifted and the tailbone lifted on your way down. And then when you run out of pelvic tilt there, you can soften down a little bit. Awesome. Now, especially if you have low back problems, it's important to keep that cow-type spine. That's going to protect any potentially bulging discs. A little bit of trivia. Did you all know that I think it's 45% of people in their 50s either have a bulging disc or an undiagnosed bulging disc, one that they don't even know they have. So that's why it's important for us to think about the integrity of our spine in these folds. And things like Baddha Konasana, when we're leaning forward, if we're rounding that spine, that's the perfect time to blow out a disc. All right, put a bend in those knees, engage the core. Thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. All right, guys, turn on the Ujjayi breath. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And inhale, rise. Forward fold, exhale. Keep that Ujjayi breath on. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And inhale, rise. All right, just a couple more on your own. Go for it. Let your breath be your guide. Let your breath determine how fast or slow you move. Beautiful. Find your flow. Find your natural speed. All right, next time you get to the top, hang out there. I always screw it up for a couple of people. All right, so we're gonna do one Surya Namaskar A just to get back into down dog. So big inhale, forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. This is the only one today. Well, probably. So make it a good one. Don't blow through it. Squeeze those elbows into the ribcage. Body stiff like a plank. Good job, Joanne. Shift forward. Press the ground away. Inhale. Up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Okie dokie. Let the stretching begin. So bringing the right thumb over to meet the left thumb, creating a bunch of space on the right side of your mat. Step your foot all the way up into that space. Now, if you need to set your left knee down and pick up your foot and move it, that's totally okay too. But you want to have this left knee, the left leg stretched out as far behind you as you can comfortably get it. Now, also, since we're going to be here for a little while, if this hurts your knee, feel free to grab some padding, grab a towel, throw it under there. Maybe you just roll your mat. That sometimes does the trick too. Okay, so from here, we're going to bring that right arm to that right thigh. Inhaling those left fingers high. And you can stay right here. If this is where your body wants you today, stay there, totally fine. Now, if both arms want to come up, go for it. And the thing is, we want to challenge our limits, but we don't want to make the body feel threatened, right? If we do something that's way too strong for us, then the body just locks up, and then any attempt to stretch is just not going to work. So think about softening, letting those hips fall forward and down. Notice that breath, long, deep, smooth. Now this is an intense stretch. I feel it really strong. So if you're feeling it powerfully, you're probably doing just fine. Yep, if the fingers are getting tingly, feel free to bring those hands to heart center. Beautiful, okay. Bringing those fingers to the mat. Now we're gonna either stay here or lower down to your lizard lunge. Could be on top of blocks or it could be the floor. Now that it's okay if the knee points out a little bit. For different folks, it's going to be different depending on the shape of your hip sockets, right? Just make sure that your foot is pointed the same direction as your knee. And softening is the key. Think about letting yourself soften into place. Now try to make sure that the foot is either underneath the knee or a little bit in front of. If it's behind, you might pick it up and move it forward a little bit. Now, as this gets intense, tap into that breath. Bring your focus to your breath, pulling that full awareness inward. Beautiful. All right. Bring those fingers to the mat. Then we're going to shift those hips back, popping up those front toes. Holy cow. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. They're having a very good day. Now, if anybody is inclined to try the full splits, just slide that left leg out a little bit more behind you. It's definitely not my strong suit, but it's something I would like to be able to do. So I'm going to work on it. And also know that to get a good stretch here, you don't necessarily have to be leaning forward. You can have your body upright. You can even have your hands on blocks. The thing is, you want to just have the tailbone lifting behind you and the toes lifting. That's going to give you your stretch no matter where you are. So don't feel like you need to be bent forward, because you really don't. All right, guys, shifting the weight back onto the bottom of that front foot. So we're going to have a kind of big transition here, and we're going to go into pigeon pose, regular pigeon pose. But if you know that pigeon pose isn't good for you, maybe you feel it too much in the knees or something like that, feel free to take supine pigeon. So it's the same pose on your back, but you just squeeze the knee into the body instead of having it under you, all right? So we're gonna tuck those left toes under, lift that left knee. Now we're gonna inhale that right leg all the way back into three-legged dog. Put a bend in that knee, let the foot fall behind, opening the hip into scorpion dog. Now don't just blow through scorpion here, really stretch through those hips. And then if you want to, go ahead and fall back into your wild thing. Ooh. Beautiful, big inhale. Exhale, sweep those right fingers down, inhaling that right leg high. All right, here we go. Bringing that right knee up to the outside edge of that right wrist, so the knee is outside of the hip. I think I'll turn this way. So the knee is outside of the hip, right? Shin parallel to the front edge of the mat if it's comfortable on the knee. That left leg is stretched just straight behind. Okay, now if this is not something that's working, supine pigeon looks like this. You'll just take that same leg and squeeze it in. All right. Otherwise, if everything's feeling okay, walk yourself down. Now, in the yogic way of viewing the energy system, in the hips, and all of the large muscles around the hips, there's a lot of emotion stored. There's a lot of trauma stored. So it's not uncommon for people in these types of poses, really deep into the pigeon poses, to start to feel waves of emotion. So if you notice something popping up, just notice what's going on. Notice what's coming up. It can be interesting. Now, Joanne, another trick if you'd like to get more stretch there, you can take a block and put it between your foot and your dresser there, and that'll even give you more stretch if you want it, if you want it.
Oh my God.
There it is. Now, only if it's appropriate. If it's too much, feel free to take it out. This should be an intense stretch, though. It should be pretty powerful in that right hip, the right glute. Okay, we're going to go through our transition here in a second. So folks on the floor, follow my lead. For the, actually you're all on the floor. For, for the folks in regular pigeon, follow my lead. For the folks in supine pigeon, we need to do the lunge sequence on the left side. So we're going to need to meet in down dog. So coming back to down dog. For folks on the floor, plant those hands, tuck those left toes under, lift that left knee. Inhaling that right leg all the way up into three-legged dog. Put a bend in the knee, let the foot fall behind, scorpion dog. Beautiful. Only flip it if you really want to. The scorpion is the point here. Then inhale that right leg high and set it down, exhale. All right. Now moving that left thumb over to meet that right thumb. Then stepping that left foot all the way up outside of that pinky. Feel free to set that right knee down and move that foot forward. Now check it out. Make sure that the ankle is either below the knee or a little bit in front of. You don't want it behind. All right. Now you're welcome to stay here, or if you can, bring that arm to the thigh and bring yourself up. This may be plenty, right? If you want to go farther, reach those right fingers high. A little bit farther, reach those left fingers high. Pick the level that is right for you today. And remember, think about softening the hips. Let things melt towards the floor. Stretch only happens if you can relax. Let it relax. Whew. All right. Shifting the weight forward, bringing those hands to the ground. Then your option to stay lifted or lower down into your lizard lunge. Yep, and don't feel shy about using plenty of props. It's better to be able to, bend the elbows to get yourself deeper than to reach to your maximum, right? Take advantage of those blocks. Letting those hips soften. Now notice what's happening with your right hip here. If your right hip has started to really fall towards the floor, lift it up a bit. The intent is to keep the hips level here. Beautifully done. Bring those fingers to the mat. Shift those hips back, popping up those front toes for Ardha Hanumanasana, half split, or extend that right leg if you want to go for the full deal. Use your breath. All right, shifting the weight back to the bottom of that front foot. Plant those hands. Tuck those right toes under. Lift that right knee. We're gonna step that left foot all the way into three-legged dog. Put a bend in the knee, let the foot fall behind, opening that hip, scorpion dog. Falling into wild thing if you want to, but in this case, scorpion is really more the point. Either way is fine though. Beautiful, big inhale. Exhale, sweep those fingers down, inhaling that left leg high. All right, now we're gonna bring that left knee all the way up to the left edge of our mat, outside edge of that left hand, bringing the shin as parallel to the front as is comfortable. If it gives you a pinch in the knee, then point these toes down towards that right hip, and that's gonna allow some more rotation there. If you wanna take it on your back, feel free to set yourself up in supine pigeon. And also know that you can put the bottom of your foot, on a couch or a wall, and that'll hold you in place. This makes it pretty easy. Awesome, all right. If everything's feeling fine, lower yourself down. 3 minutes here. All right. Folks in supine pigeon, gently make your way to a downward facing dog. For the folks in regular pigeon, plant those hands, tuck those right toes under, lift that right knee, Inhaling that left leg high into three-legged dog, then put a bend in the knee, let the foot fall behind, opening that hip scorpion dog. Inhaling it back into three-legged dog and exhale it into down dog. Now take just a moment here to really stretch through the upper back. Think about letting that heart melt towards the floor, opening those armpits as much as you can. If you feel like you're running into a stop at the shoulders, try to bring your hands a little bit wider, and that sometimes will allow the arm bone to go around the acromion. All right, let those knees come to the floor, swing those hips off to the side, swing those feet out front. We are going for Upavista Konasana, I think. I can never remember the name. It's a wide-legged forward fold. So we're gonna take the feet as wide as we can get them. And this in itself is plenty, right? Okay, now from here, it's important that your pelvis is tilting forward. If your pelvis is tilting back here, it's gonna cause you problems. So if it is, take a towel or a blanket or a pillow, something, put it right under the edge of your butt. That's gonna help your pelvis to tilt forward. You can even use a block here, although a block is a little bit high, it might be pretty intense. All right, now if everything's feeling fine, inhale, lift the heart, and exhale. Start to walk yourself forward. Now think about getting those Achilles tendons flat to the mat here. Now folks on carpet, you're probably gonna be just fine. For folks on a hard floor, this might get to be a lot on your heels. You might wanna turn sideways so that you have your both of your heels on your mat. Totally up to you though. All right, bring those fingers to the mat, gently press yourself up. Now we're gonna turn to that right leg, lift that spine nice and long as you turn, big inhale, and then exhale, folding forward, trying to square the chest down to that right thigh. Now if it's possible, you can reach for the pinky side of the right foot with the left hand, and that's gonna square you down even more. Okay guys, this is kind of a tricky transition, but once you've done it a couple of times, it makes sense. Keep yourself oriented towards that right leg. So keep your gaze on that right foot, your body square to that right thigh. Extend that left arm behind you. Once it's fully extended, then move the body backwards, staying oriented towards that right leg, and then reach for the bottom of that left foot. Once you have it, swing that right arm over. Now, anywhere that you get in that process is totally fine. Wherever your level is today, it's totally fine. Awesome. Gail, that's a really good modification. You're pretty natural, you know. Yeah, if this top arm just isn't working for you, bring the back of the hand to the low back. Let that shoulder open back. All right, guys. So we're going to engage the core and cartwheel up to center. Really use the strength of your core here. Ride that strong core. Good. All right, turning towards that left leg. Stretch the spine tall. Big inhale. And exhale, folding forward, squaring down this time, bringing the chest level to the thigh. And then reaching the right hand to that pinky side of the left foot, if it's possible, just to square down a little bit more. Would anybody mind if we took just a couple of extra minutes for Shavasana today?
I'm good.
It's okay? All right.
Sounds good.
All right, time for that funky transition. So bringing the back of the right hand to the mat, slide it behind you, staying oriented towards that left leg the whole time. Moving backwards, reaching for the bottom of that right foot. Once you have it, sweep that left arm over. Feel free to bring that hand to your low back. All right, engage the core, cartwheeling up to center, really ride the strength of that core. Okay, now if you trust the strength and the integrity of your low back, then you can come into this with the arms extended. If you're not so sure, bring those fingers to the mat and that's just fine, okay? Big inhale, exhale, folding forward. Use that breath. All right, bring those fingers to the mat, gently press yourself up. Then we're gonna take the peace fingers into the knee crease, gently pull back to keep that opening of the groin here, and then swing those feet in for Baddha Konasana. From here, lift the heart, big inhale, and exhale, folding forward. Now respect the knees here. If you get a pinch, back out. Okay, bring those fingers to the mat, gently press yourself up. Okay, now I'm gonna give you an option. We just need to do one last back bend before we call it a day. So a couple of options. You can do bridge pose if you like bridge pose. I know for a lot of folks, it's hard to do bridge pose without getting a pinch in the low back. So if you fall into that category, you're gonna wanna do camel pose. So I'll just show you bridge pose real quick, and then we'll be on our own here. So for bridge pose, you bring the feet to the ground, you extend the middle fingers so that you can touch the heels, press into those feet, lift the hips, and then lengthen the spine to try to bring those thighs parallel to the floor. Now, once there's pressure on the neck, don't look around. And then from there, you would just let down. So that's your bridge pose. If you want to do the camel pose, we'll just come up to the knees, bring those hands to the low back, like right at the top of the butt, like right around the sacrum, right? Lengthen the spine, lift the heart, magnetize those elbows towards each other. Let those hips come forward, opening the heart to the sky. Camel pose. Awesome low back stretch. So up to you, whichever feels better. Now go for 3 rounds. Take it at your own pace. Make sure to think about length, length, length the whole time. Now, for anyone wanting to go deeper in their camel pose, you can reach for the heel and then open up from there. Just make sure you do both sides. It's nice. Really think about the length in the spine. It's really that important. All right. Challenge for anybody that wants to take it. If you're doing the camel pose, challenge would be to go for both hands on the heels, press the hips forward, trying to get those thighs straight up and down. This is full camel pose. So that's your challenge if you want to take it. For folks in bridge pose, your challenge would be wheel. So now remember, this is just an option. You don't have to do this. So set yourself up just in your regular bridge type pose. Then you'll bring the hands outside of the ears, magnetize those elbows towards each other, then lift those hips and extend the arms into wheel pose. Awesome. Nettie, what did your lower back think of that?
I'm sore from what I've been doing all week too, but I'm kind of scared. My lower back is my weak spot.
Yeah. Did it not feel? Did it feel stable and strong, or did it feel kind of maybe a little bit weak? Or
well, when I lean back doing this, I can do this, but to reach for my heels, I can get one heel. I can't get both heels.
oh well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's hell. You're already advanced. really reaching for the heels at all is amazing. So don't think that you're like you're limited, because you're definitely not. So if that's the concern,
okay.
don't worry about it. The only thing I would be concerned of is if you're still feeling pain in the low back after you did this.
No, I don't.
Yes,
Oh,
excellent.
good. I ordered some blocks a while back, but I still haven't gotten them.
You know,
Nettie,
Nettie,
take the blocks from school.
Oh, I never thought of that.
It's blocks. He's not using them.
Okay. Yeah, I could until I get mine, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. All right. So coming to lie on the back, bring those feet mat with the part windshield wiper, those knees. And bringing those knees in for a big squeeze. A big inhale. And exhale, let them fall right, keeping that left shoulder down if it'll stay. Gently bring those knees back to center. Give them another squeeze. Big inhale. Exhale, let them drop left. Keeping that right shoulder down if it'll stay. And gently bring those knees back to center. Now, if there are any last poses that your body would like before Shavasana, go for it. Maybe a happy baby pose, maybe some more windshield wipers, whatever feels good. All right, then bring it in for one last squeeze. One last big inhale. And exhale, extend into Shavasana. Now take a moment, get yourself perfectly comfortable, whatever that takes. If you want to grab a pillow or a blanket, go for it. And relaxing the forehead. Relaxing the eyebrows. All of the little muscles around the eyes, relax them, let them go. Softening the cheeks. Letting them melt down towards the ears. Relaxing the jaw. Letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. With each exhale, feeling your body pressing heavier and heavier into your mat. With each exhale, falling deeper and deeper into relaxation. For these next few minutes, just relax. Now starting to bring your awareness back into your body, maybe wiggling some fingers, wiggling some toes, maybe reaching overhead for a big full body stretch. Then when you're ready, rolling onto whichever side is the most comfortable for you, savoring these last few moments of relaxation. Then using as little effort as possible, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat, keeping eyes closed or lowered. Now take a moment, feel into the body, notice what's changed. Notice the result of the practice you've just completed. And inhaling the arms out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhaling out and up. See yourself grabbing your big handful of divine energy. Exhale, pull it down to heart center. Feel that warmth. See the glow. Last time. Inhaling out and up. Bringing palms to touch. Exhaling down to the third eye for the mind. To heart center for the body and spirit. Namaste. Happy Friday, y'all. Go out there and have a wonderful day, yeah? And then see you Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.